Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition, a special edition of the ABA Coffee in the Park. My name is Cam Milliken, and I'm here with my co-host extraordinaire, Jennifer Herrick, the Executive Director of the Atchison Business Association. Hi, Jennifer.
Well, hello, Cam. I am excited. Do you know why? Because
Tell me.
we are doing a year-end review.
Year-end review today.
Of the ABA Coffee in the Park podcast.
That's right. So that is amazing. Let's just give a little bit of background. But before we do that, we want to let everybody know that we are coming to you from the Wall Coffee Roaster in the heart of beautiful downtown Atchison. That's right. So if you hear some coffee noises in the background or people talking, it's because, there's all kinds of stuff going on in here today. And Jennifer, we want to say thank you to some people.
We sure do. We want to thank our gold corporate sponsors, which include the MyShack Group of Companies, Genix, and Parkland County. Thank you to all of these businesses for what you've done for the ABA in 2024.
Yeah, without you, we would not be able to do this. So thank you very much. So let's get back to our show today. And let's start with, Jennifer, let's start with the beginning.
Let's start with the beginning.
No, because we've told this story a few times, but let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
So we've done 26
shows.
episodes.
Yes.
Yeah. But some people don't know how this all got started.
No, they don't.
How did what, you want to tell that story? Or?
You know, I don't even recall the date when this all started. And this is the pre podcast.
Yeah, this is before we weren't even recording yet.
No. If I recall correctly, and this was when we were in our old offices.
Yeah, on the
other side.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes. Yep. That I walked into your office one day and you had a microphone sitting there.
Yeah,
in
one
fact,
of these mics.
One of the mics that we're using right now.
Right here, yeah.
And I looked at you and I thought, wonder what he's doing. And I think actually that day I left, but then the next day it was still there. And so I said to you, well, what are you doing? And you said, we're going to do a podcast. I'm like, you're going to do a podcast?
No.
And you said, no, we're going to do a podcast.
We're going to do a podcast. That's right.
And if I recall, I looked at you.
Yeah.
I called you an idiot.
You did. You said you're an idiot. That's
like
what you said.
my exact words.
Those were your exact words.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
And I walked out.
And you walked out. I wasn't offended or anything like that. I mean, I didn't take that personally, really.
No.
For a while, but then we
then
convinced
two
you.
Microphones showed up.
Yeah, we had two microphones showed up, and I wore you down.
And eventually, I'm like, well, why not?
I think you gave in because you were just tired of me.
I think that was it.
Yeah. And you weren't sure, but then we started. We did it.
We did.
We did the first one, we actually let's go back because we talked about what we wanted it to be.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, and I think this stemmed from you and I meeting so many great people in and around Atchison.
Yeah.
And when we would sit down with them, we would hear some amazing stories.
Yes. They had amazing stories.
They did.
And somehow we got to know a lot of those stories just by conversations with those people.
In fact, over coffee here at the Wall Coffee Roasters.
Right. Many, many meetings here with people, and they start telling you their story. And so you and I came to the conclusion that the story behind the story.
Right, because everybody, whether they think so or not, and we have had lots of people say, I don't have a story.
Yeah.
Everybody has a story.
And then we start talking to them, and before you know it, they're telling you their story, and you're like, wow, that's a fantastic story.
So we batted this around for a bit, and then we thought, well, where are we going to do this podcast?
Yeah.
And because these stories always seem to come out at the Wall Coffee Roasters,
right. When we were having coffee here.
Why not coffee and conversation?
Right. So we went to Michael.
We did.
And we said, hey, can we, in this corner where we are
booth,
right here, is it okay if we record our podcast? And he really didn't. He said, yeah, sure, go ahead and do it. I don't think he really thought much of it. But, and so we just started.
We started.
Yeah.
And here we are 26 episodes later.
26 episodes later.
Amazing.
I know, it's incredible. And we've had some fantastic guests, and we're going to talk about them today. But that's sort of how it all got started. It was just an idea, and we just stepped out and said, let's do it. We truthfully didn't even know much. I didn't know how to record podcasts. I didn't know much about it. We played around a little bit to try and figure it all out. And, here it is. Here it is.
I think the funny part is you and I both do not like to listen to ourselves.
No,
recorded back. So
No.
here we are doing this
I just,
podcast
like-
thinking, oh, what are we doing?
I just like, I don't know if I want to listen to that guy. You're great. Like you're and as I hear me and I go, "Ay, who would want to listen to him?" But nonetheless, I think that's why it works great, is because we work together. And so here we are. We're in our little corner here at the Wall Coffee Roasters. We don't really, some of our pictures you see are on air sign behind us, and we have all our equipment set up, and we just away we go.
So Cam, do you want to know the first date we recorded our podcast?
Okay.
June 27th.
No.
Yes.
Serious?
That was our inaugural
June
episode.
27th?
June 27th.
Wow.
I know.
That seems like forever ago.
Doesn't it?
Or it seems like just yesterday. That's really incredible. June 27th.
The fact that we started it at the end of June, almost
Yeah.
July, and for the amount of listeners we have, and
know.
worldwide.
All over the world.
Honestly, this is the piece that amazes
Yeah,
me.
technology shows us where our listeners are. Now, of course, the bulk of them are Alberta
They are.
and around here, but when we started seeing that people are actually genuinely listening to us in other parts of the world, I'm like, my goodness, and on a regular basis.
On a regular basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It really is.
So, when we first started, we did, again, full transparency, we thought like 5 people would listen.
Yeah, our families, and then they would get bored and stop
they
listening.
would stop. They'd move on to something else,
Right.
to Joe Rogan or something like that. But anyways, and it just kept growing and going and growing and going. And a lot of that has to do with our guests.
100%.
And, when they're on and they're telling their friends and stuff like that. But it's been unbelievable where it's gone. And so June 27th, wow.
Yeah.
That's really incredible.
I
So
know.
for half a year, we've been doing this.
And for those that stuck it out after that inaugural episode, because it was
thanks.
a little rough.
That was a little rough, that one. We were trying to figure it all out. Should we air
Thank
this or
you.
shouldn't we? Well, let's just do it.
Let's just go with it.
Let's just do it. And I want to say a big thank you. We don't mention her very often, to Hannah.
Oh, Hannah is amazing.
She's the one who uploads these. She's the one who does kind of the behind the scenes once we've recorded, and she makes it happen. So without Hannah, none of this would get out there.
That's right. Shout out to Hannah.
Yeah, shout out to Hannah. So it was so new to us. We had no idea. We're still rookies at it.
We are.
And we've had people tell us, hey, why don't you come record in a studio or our studio?
Yes.
And we've just said, no, we're not doing that. We're staying here in the coffee
We're
shop.
staying in our booth in the coffee shop,
Yeah.
and we're keeping it grassroots.
That's right, because we get good coffee.
Yes.
And this is just a great place to have conversation.
And you know what, Cam? I really feel, and our guests have told us this.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them are really nervous coming in. Some of them have never done a podcast before.
No.
But they come to the Wall Coffee Roasters, they grab a cup of
Yeah.
coffee, they sit down with
It's
us.
so relaxed.
You know what? It puts our guests at
Yeah,
ease.
it's just relaxed.
Which
and
is
it's
why we will
nice and-
never go to a professional
never
studio.
will. We like it here. ABA Coffee in the Park is always going to be at the Wall Coffee
Until
Roasters.
Michael kicks us
Until he
out.
kicks us out, yeah. He hasn't done that yet.
Not yet.
And so shout out to Michael for letting us do our podcast here, because, he could have got rid of us a long time ago. We could be sitting out in the parking lot,
And we could be
which
sitting
today
in a
would be a
little
little
trailer,
cold.
yeah.
A little
Yeah.
a little trailer. That's right. Hi, we're coming to you live from our little trailer. And
The
it's-
heat's not
The
on.
heat's not
It's,
on. It's minus 74
that's right.
in here. But anyway, we're in the warmth of the beautiful coffee shop. So,
So, Cam,
yeah.
I made, because quite honestly, there's been so many great guests that I needed to write this down so I wouldn't forget.
So you have a list
I have a list
of all our guests.
of our guests from 2024.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who was our very first guest?
Our very first inaugural guest, and I am so happy she said yes,
Yeah.
was Jan Mitchner,
Mitchner.
from Mitchner Allen
Yes.
Auctioneering, and now owner Deb's Dogs.
Deb's Dogs.
The food trailer.
The food trailer.
Yes.
Yeah. She was great
Oh.
for a first guest because she made it easy on us.
She
had
did.
great stories to tell. She had great personality, and she was probably looking at us going, "Whoa, you guys!" But she was such a good sport, and she did a great job.
And she had a fantastic story.
She does have a fantastic
She
story.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she was really great, and I'm glad she was our first guest.
Thank you, Jan, for
Thank
being
you,
our
Jan. And so
first
she kicked it
guest.
off. All right. Then we had
Well, we had to have owner of the Wall Coffee Roaster.
Michael Wall.
Michael Wall.
That's right. And he has a great story. Just even
does.
how he started this whole coffee business.
That's
and all
right.
Of that.
How he went into coffee roasting,
Yeah.
period.
And I think it was a good play on our part because he was on the podcast.
Again,
and-
he hasn't kicked us out
no,
as
he
a
hasn't
result.
kicked us out.
No.
So yeah, no, Michael did a great job, and it was awesome. And again, another really great story. And then
Oh, I love this lady. She is a dynamo. Tamara Sanderson from RST.
Tamara was great.
Isn't
and has
she?
a great story.
Oh.
And she was awesome. She telling her story. We've had really good feedback from Tamara's podcast. And not only that, she's such a faithful listener.
She
and
is.
such a faithful supporter.
I know.
And a booster of the
She
podcast.
is, Tamara, if you were listening right now, you are amazing.
She's one of our biggest fans.
She really is.
She's
In fact, she brought her mom.
That's right, because her mom listens to us, and her mom wanted to go to beautiful downtown Atchison.
Yes.
And Tamara had to bring her here.
I think she was
And
a little disappointed.
I think she was a little underwhelmed.
But it's okay.
Yeah, that's right. But we thought that was really great, and Tamara told us that story, and so we thought right there, oh, well, people are actually listening. So we had to be careful what we were saying,
That's right.
but nonetheless.
Yes. And then, this was a good one. And you recall this one because we ate some delicious food.
Oh.
Mr. Mike Chatty,
from Wing Snob. Oh, man, that was the best.
Wasn't that a great
episode? He brought
episode?
wings, and if you've never been to Wing Snob, it's a fantastic...
You have to go to Wing Snob.
Franchise in the city of Edmonton. And Mike brought wings that day. Great story of his life and starting his franchise.
From a lawyer.
To wings. To Wing Snob. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, he's like putting people in jail to getting people to eat his wings.
Hey,
and
I
they're good
think the latter's better.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
And he does too, I think.
I think so
yeah.
too.
So that was really cool. And I really enjoyed Mike, and thanks for bringing the wings. That was awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And then we did something a little different. We brought one of our not-for-profit partners on. We brought on Sherry Ratzoy from the Parkland Food Bank to talk about her story and why she's been a part of the Parkland Food Bank for as long as she has been.
That was a great story.
It was.
And it was also, I thought that one, a great info session on the food bank.
Absolutely.
She told us things that people don't know about the food bank.
And it played such an important role in our community.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Sherry, thank you for coming on to do that.
Appreciate that, Sherry. And then we went on to Benny Lotes, Ben Lotes. For those of you that listen to, if you haven't listened to the Ben Lotes podcast,
if you want to laugh,
yeah, that's got to be in one. You got to go listen to Benny Lotes. It was amazing. Ben's story is just unbelievable.
Skateboarder to real estate agent.
Few things in between, clown and all that kind of stuff.
He's something.
And he was great. What a great story, and what a great guy.
You know what? You will not find a nicer person than Ben and his wife Jenna.
Yeah,
we
and
love
we get to see them lots because they're here at the coffee shop.
I believe it is also their second office.
Yeah, that's right. And so often when we're recording our podcast, they're sitting right over there, and it's great. And they're such great supporters of ours.
They are.
Thank you, Benny. You're awesome, buddy.
So this next one was a lot of fun because we had to do a road show.
That's right. That was our first road show.
It was our first road show.
Remote.
Remote.
Yes.
Yes. And mostly because it was a cat and he couldn't come in the coffee shop.
That's right. Felix the cat, the shop cat.
Felix, a shop cat from Bushel Transport.
That's right. And we couldn't bring him into because, health regulations and all that. So we had to go to Felix.
And people were thinking, well, why a cat?
Yeah.
But he is Atchison and Instagram famous.
That's right. He has 25?
No, close to 3,000.
3,000 now.
Yeah.
3,000 followers on Instagram.
I know.
And so, he was such a big hit, such a success. He was famous because he also was
He won Podcast Guest of the
That's
Year
right.
award
He was
at our
the very
awards
first
gala.
Podcast Guest of the Year.
His social media handler, Cheryl Gladacker, a.k.a. owner of Bushel Transport, had to accept on his behalf
That's
because,
right.
again,
he couldn't make it that night.
He
was busy.
He had cat duties.
Yeah, he had cat duties. So that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that remote. And then we did Dawn and Jan from Imprint.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a great story.
Beautiful people.
Siblings.
Wonderful people. Brother and sister.
Yeah.
Own Imprint here in Atchison. Big supporters of ours. Jan sits on the ABA board, and they're just great people.
Started during COVID.
Yep.
What a story.
What a story.
Yeah. A small print shop starting during COVID. It was fantastic.
Cool. Yeah, it was great.
Oh, you and I had a blast with this next lady, Kathy Duell.
Oh, Kathy. Kathy Duell is amazing. Kathy helped start the Atchison Business Association 30 years ago. Yeah. And they own Hayworth Trucking here in Atchison. But Kathy, I'm telling you, there's nobody that makes me laugh like Kathy. She just gets me going and makes me feel really good at the end of the day. That was a great interview.
It was. This next one was really a highlight for me. And I think a bit of a highlight for you. It
Yeah.
was Mr. Westwall.
Yeah, Wes.
Yeah, owner of Genix.
Yeah, owner of Genix.
And winner of this year's Lifetime Achievement Award.
That's right, at the gala.
Yes.
And not only because Wes is my boss, but because Wes has been my friend, one of my best friends for 45 years, and just a great guy, great business he runs, one of the most caring, giving guys I know. And yeah, he won the Lifetime Achievement Award, which was pretty awesome.
It was.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, Cam, this next guest. Oh, this one. This one was quite the interview. For anybody that hasn't listened to his story, you must. It was our friend, Tyler Pelkey.
Oh, Tyler. Yeah, Jennifer, I remember you and I talked a lot about this, and even, we wanted to have Tyler on, but the story is it's just so impactful. It's so amazing. And I remember you and I talking a lot about, how are we going to approach it? How are we going to approach this one? And then Tyler came on and told his story. And actually, Tyler, I think, made it really easy for us.
He did. Because you and I were really nervous about this one.
Yeah, we were. You're right. And you and I talked a lot. But he did such an amazing job. If you have not listened to Tyler's story, do it. Be prepared.
Yes.
Because it's gonna tug at your heart, not only tug at your heartstrings, but there's people who have gone through traumas and things like
Absolutely.
that. But what a story.
What
Phenomenal
a story. Tyler, thank you so much
Tyler,
for coming on.
Love you and appreciate
and
you,
doing
buddy.
this podcast.
Yeah. Then after Tyler, we had
Mr. Murray McCourt,
McCourt,
who is the general manager of the Ranch Golf and Country Club, which I don't think people know is in Atchison.
That's right.
We have a
People
golf course.
think it's more in Edmonton, but
Wrong.
it's actually in Atchison.
We claim it. It's
That's
Atchison.
right. It's ours.
Yeah.
And that's where we do the ABA golf tournament every year.
Yes, which you and I had a blast at.
We
this
did.
year.
That's right. We had to patrol the entire golf course in the golf cart, and we made sure that we got to everybody, and it was fun. And Murray, they do such a great job out there, and he has a great story.
He had a fantastic story.
I mean, where he's been and what he's done.
And he's wrote a book.
Yeah, wrote a book, and oh man, that was great. Loved Murray. Yeah.
Okay, this next guest is my heart. She is one of
She's one of your favorites.
You know she's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love her too, but she's one of your favorites.
I know. And she always claims I bully her into things.
Well,
it's not true.
Well, no. well, She's
always happy she does it.
I know. At the end, she's all, I'm so glad I did that. But yeah, so she needs a little convincing.
She does.
So I don't know if you bully her, but you're very good at convincing.
Well, there we go.
Yeah. Darlene Whitaker.
Darlene Whitaker, president and CEO of Reliable 2.
Darlene was amazing.
Was also a Lifetime Achievement Award winner at our gala last year.
2023. Yes. Lifetime Achievement Award winner. One of the most caring, giving ladies, but what an incredible story of resilience and perseverance. I just love Darlene. I've known Darlene many years and her family, and she is one of your favorites. One of my favorites. I love her. She's amazing.
She is a powerhouse.
Yeah. You just have to convince her a little bit.
But she is an inspiration for me. Yeah. 100%.
Once she gets going, she's amazing. So then after Darlene was this was a great one. Brodie Olson. We had Brodie Olson. Now Brodie is one of the
I think he is the longest
serving member of the Edmonton Symphony Orchestra.
Yes.
How long has he been? He was it's a long time. I don't even want to say because I don't want to misrepresent it. But Brodie has an amazing story. Brodie and his wife Patty had a severe accident and became a full quadriplegic. And Brodie came on and told the story about their journey. And Patty has passed on, but he told the story. And because he plays in the symphony, he brought his violin.
He played Amazing Grace. It was so cool.
Do you remember the whole place?
Everybody,
went quiet.
The wall just shut down.
And everyone's looking at Brodie, and I'm looking around. I'm looking at you, me, and there's tears in our eyes. Beautiful. And he just sat here and played Amazing Grace.
It was so good.
Wonderful guy.
So good.
Love you, Brodie. You're just amazing. Appreciate you coming on.
And then we had Mr. Darren Hinkle of the Black Dirt Company.
Yeah, Darren, what a great story.
It was a great story.
It was because it was like one of those family stories.
Yeah.
Family succession of business. And, when you hear Black Dirt Company, you're like, well, is there money in Black Dirt? Well, it's quite a story.
And you know what I really loved about Darren's story was his involvement in the community.
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? this is a guy that gets it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And he does. And it was a great story or great inspiration.
It was,
I
for
think,
sure.
for businesses. And then after Darren, we did our Thanksgiving special. Remember that? Because we taste tested the pumpkin pie.
Oh,
remember
boy,
that?
Did we ever?
We
talked about what
we tested the pumpkin
we did.
pie.
We talked about Thanksgiving traditions.
Yeah.
What to not talk about at the family.
That's right, because there's certain
table.
things you shouldn't be talking
Right.
about. Yeah.
Yes.
And so here's, if anybody who's listening to this, if you took us literally and actually took us up on our pumpkin pie recommendations, let us know, because I don't think anybody. I don't know,
but they should have.
They should have,
I
because
know.
we tried them.
But you know what? After eating all that pumpkin pie, I'll be honest and
I
say
know.
I ate nothing at
The rest
Thanksgiving
of the
for
day.
pumpkin pie.
That's
I was like, I'm
right.
done.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
You know, now that you say that,
Right?
neither did I. That's hilarious.
I know.
Okay. Then after our Thanksgiving special, this was a big one for us. Mike Myshak Sr.
Boy, was it ever.
Yeah.
We weren't sure.
Yeah.
This took a bit of, conversation
It took
back
some
and forth.
convincing. Yeah. Yeah.
But wow.
yeah.
We are so honored that Mr. Myshak Sr. agreed to come on our podcast and share his amazing journey.
Mr. Myshak is
89.
years
Yeah.
old. Yeah. And what a story.
Absolutely.
Those who work or are familiar with Atchison and Edmonton area, well, and actually Alberta, will know the Myshaks and their business.
Yes.
And what they do. And when Mr. Myshak Sr. came on and began to tell his story, I mean, it's amazing.
It really
it's
was.
just incredible.
So thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Myshak.
Yeah, and we had his son,
We had
Jim on, and then
his
we had
grandson, Mike Jr.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that we actually had a little bit of a studio audience
Oh, we
that day,
did. We had his
because a bunch of his
granddaughters, I
family
think,
members were
yes.
here, and that was pretty cool.
It
I just
was.
thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that was a great podcast.
Yeah, great podcast.
Absolutely. After that, we had, and we've talked about it on the podcast Gather Bakery,
Yeah.
we had Teresa Jackson.
Yeah, Gather Bakery. Yeah.
We go there too much.
I know. Matter of fact, we just did our Christmas special, and we actually
That's
made,
where we got our gingerbread people.
Yeah, we made gingerbread people.
Yes.
Gingerbread. They have gingerbread people kits.
Yes.
And we made gingerbread people while we were doing the podcast. And actually, if you go back, you'll see it on our social media. Jennifer's and mine's gingerbread people.
Inspirational story of she is a single mom
Single
now,
mom.
raising like a lot of
A lot
kids
of
on her
kids,
own.
7 or something
yeah,
like that.
doing a great job.
Runs a couple businesses right across Canada.
Absolutely.
Actually. And so yeah, great story.
Tune into that story.
I love that one.
This next one was a lot of fun for me. We got to turn the tables and we got to interview someone who interviews people, Mr. Daryl McIntyre.
Yeah, Daryl McIntyre. Yeah.
Yeah.
He came to MC our gala.
He did.
And graciously agreed to come on the podcast. And those, again, in Alberta and an area know
you know Daryl
because
McIntyre.
he was on the news forever and ever and ever and,
then
ever and ever.
6:30 Ched, which
Yeah.
is now, I don't even know what
I don't know
it
what
is.
they are now, but anyway, I don't even know if
Something
they're
else.
anything now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great interview, and it was kind of fun. He made that easy. I enjoyed that
well,
one.
of course. He's
Yeah.
such a pro, right?
Yeah. And then after Daryl,
We went on another road show.
that's right.
Remember?
That's right. We went on a road show. This is one of my favorites. Amy Kwan from the Ling Nan restaurant. And
that
we went
was
to the
a
Ling Nan.
hoot.
Remember?
Yes,
We went to the
I
Ling
sure
Nan.
do.
And what a blast that was. But you know, the best part of that one was before we interviewed Amy, remember we went and had dinner?
Yes.
At the Ling Nan,
Yep.
and she put on a dinner, and then we interviewed Amy
Yep.
a couple weeks later,
Yep.
and that was just so much fun. What a story! And to be at the restaurant, nobody but just you and me and Amy.
Yes,
we were the only ones
that's
there.
right.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot
Yeah.
of fun.
And then after Amy, we did Brett Oland from Bow Valley Credit Union.
Yes.
The president and CEO of Bow Valley Credit
What
Union.
a great story.
The
Cayman
guys like
Islands.
Cayman Islands.
Right?
Like that could be like I think that was like an amazing story.
Yeah.
Like dealing with banks in the Cayman.
We had to ask if it was legal.
That's right.
Because we've only seen it in
funds.
movies.
That's right. So yeah, Brett was great.
He was. That was a lot of fun.
Yep.
And then this is another dynamo lady. You notice all of our guests are
know.
great, but
Yeah.
you know what? These women we've interviewed are so
Yeah.
inspirational.
Super. I mean, amazing women.
And this one is the ultimate go-getter, Bronwyn Scrivens.
Bronwyn Scrivens. She was amazing.
Wasn't she?
It's like she's like one of the top 40 under 40.
She's just
Oh,
like a go-getter.
she's
Yeah,
like-
vice president of JLL, which is
Yeah.
commercial real estate. Yeah.
Yep. What a story. Graduate of U of A, graduate of NYU, graduate of Cornell,
Yep.
one of those places.
Yep.
Just unbelievable. a dynamite force in the real estate business
sure.
here in Alberta.
Yeah.
So she was incredible.
She is. And then this is where I coined the word Atchisonite, if you recall.
Yep.
For, our dear friend Karen Fallowfield from Supreme Steel.
Karen, she was great.
Oh,
She
love
is
you,
a
Karen.
true Atchisonite.
She is.
She is. Working with Karen is just amazing, and everything she's done, another very strong woman in leadership.
And she was also a nominee,
That's
as
right.
was Bronwyn, for our Women in Leadership Award.
Awards.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And then we had another Atchison business owner,
Oh yeah, Raina.
Van Genderen.
Thank you. I always have a little trouble with that one. From Van Genderen Cranes.
Yes.
And that was a
Wasn't
really
that cool?
fascinating
I learned
story.
a lot that
Me too.
episode.
You wouldn't think cranes are all that interesting, but actually cranes are really interesting. Listen to that podcast.
Listen to
'cause
the
it's
podcast.
Quite a story.
And I found out that, well, we talked about there's a crane company on every corner in Atchison.
Yeah, that's
and they
right.
don't all hate each other.
No, they actually work together.
They actually kind of work together.
Which I just thought, that was really interesting in the way she kind of made us understand how they work together and
Yeah.
why they work together. But their story, incredible.
It really was.
I wonder if they got their new crane yet. Because at the
Ooh,
time
we'll
of the
have to
podcast,
ask
remember,
them.
they had that new crane. It was
Yeah.
coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they got that
We'll
yet.
have to find
But
out.
That was a really great story. I really enjoyed sitting with Raina that day.
And then to wind up 2024, Cam,
Yeah.
we had the absolute honor of interviewing Mike and Leah Stelter
Yes.
with the Ben Stelter Foundation.
Yeah, what a story. Of course, those in Alberta and really everywhere around know the story of Ben Stelter, the young boy who died of cancer, but has raised literally millions of dollars for cancer research. And his mom and dad, Mike and Leah, now basically run the Ben Stelter
Yes.
Foundation and do such an amazing job.
Amazing.
And it's just sitting here with them that day, because we always talk about our podcast being the story behind the story. And the story, of course, is Ben, without a doubt. But we wanted to know their story.
Yes, we did.
And they were so open with us.
They
Remember
were
that?
so generous. Yes.
Yeah. And they were willing to just tell
Cam,
us.
I cried. That was a hard podcast
I know,
for me.
that was a hard podcast.
Yeah.
And it, because they told that we went back to before sort of the fame and before all the
Yes,
notoriety,
that's right.
and wanted to know about what it was like for them.
Absolutely.
And they were so transparent with us. And so again, if you're listening and you haven't listened to that particular podcast, for sure go and listen to it. And if you can contribute to the Ben Stelter Foundation, do it, because Jennifer, and you and I both know this because we worked in these
Yes.
fields. It's one of those not-for-profits where I would have absolutely no trouble
Me too.
recommending them.
Yeah.
They were
And
fantastic.
Get that tax receipt before December 31st.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And you'll be helping a bunch of people.
100%.
Yeah, so
yeah.
pretty incredible.
Yeah. Well,
Wow,
Cam, that's the
That's
list.
the year in review.
It's since June.
Man,
End of June.
unbelievable. That's a lot of
It's a
people.
lot of people.
And just, I'm thankful that you wrote it all down,
I know,
because
I had to write
would
it all
never
down.
remember. But
Well, I wouldn't either.
But it's just been fantastic.
It's been fantastic. And Cam, I am so looking forward to 2025
Me too.
for this podcast.
Jennifer, we've got some great guests
Do we
lined up
ever?
already.
We sure
I'm
do.
pretty excited about it.
So am I.
And I'm pretty excited about it. And it's just, I hope it's just getting better.
I hope that people listening, and I think they are finding these stories fascinating,
Yeah.
because I sure do.
Yeah, fascinating. I hope encouraging in certain areas, because that was part of our goal too, is that we wanted people to know that there are other people out there
Going through what they're going
That's
through.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I hope in those ways it's encouraging for them too. And in 2025, you and I are going to be sitting here at the table again every Tuesday.
Again, unless Michael kicks us out.
Unless Michael kicks us out every Tuesday, and we're here. And I'm just going to say this because, first of all, you heard us talk about the beginnings, and Jennifer, thank you for taking the risk. You have to put up with a lot of my really harebrained ideas.
I really do, people.
Our offices are 20 feet apart, 30 feet apart. And I think some days she just walks out. No, actually, I take that back. I know some days she walks out of my office just shaking her head. But you are such a good sport. And not only that, you were willing to step out and take a risk at something that I just felt we could do to just encourage people.
Yes.
And so I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for being here every week with me. I couldn't do it without you. I couldn't.
Well, we've talked about this. If one of us said, nope, we're done, that's it for the ABA Coffee in the Bar podcast.
If something happens and Jennifer decides to move.
If I win that lotto,
if
people,
she's gone to the Cayman Islands.
Cross your fingers,
that
I win.
That will be the last episode of ABA. But I do mean it, because you know what? It's something I look forward to. And I couldn't ask for a better co-host.
Well, ditto.
And I'm thankful.
It is the highlight of my week every week, getting to do this with you. So thank you for having the harebrained idea for this podcast.
I think it's the last one you've actually listened to. But we'll come up with something else. Anyway, the other thank you needs to go out to all of you.
Yes.
Our listeners.
Yes.
I don't know how to say thank you enough. Obviously, we'll never get to meet you all. Some we get to see.
Some we do.
Thank you for the words of encouragement.
Yes.
Thank you for the emails of encouragement. Thank you for listening. Thank you to our guests who are willing to come on our show. And it's been fantastic.
It's been fantastic. Thank you all. We hope you enjoy your new year as you ring in 2025.
Yep. And it's our thoughts and prayers that 2025 will be a good year. And we just want you to just keep listening. That's what we want. So make sure you tell your friends.
That's right.
And tell your neighbors, tell your coworkers, tell your enemies. If you don't have any friends, make a friend so you can tell them about the ABA Coffee in the Park podcast, or you can go to our you can get our podcast wherever you get your podcasts, or you can go to our website at www.atchisonbusiness.com.
That's right. We wish all of you a happy and healthy new year, and we'll see you in 2025.
That's right. See you, everybody.